I guess for all intents and purposes, it was a date. I had signed up for Match.com about 3 days ago. Just to be noted, I have been dating online probably for over 20 years. When people ask me, have you been successful? I mean, it's kind of relative, but let's just say last night, I wouldn't say it was successful, but it was good for me to experience. I think that everything is a chance to really explore our inner selves. So some of you may not agree with this, but I was talking to this guy. That's not the part that you're not going to agree with. Talking to this guy, and it's my cat. It's my cat, Kira. Kira! I would date her. And we were laughing on the phone, and I've been underwhelmed with a lot of prospects in the few days I've been on Match. And so I took a chance. Take a chance on me? I took a chance, and I decided to meet him. He had offered for me to come over for fireworks on his rooftop. And I'm not a firework person in the sense of they sound like a machine gun going through my nervous system, but I think they're beautiful. And also I was like, carpe diem, seize the moment, Kathleen. So I drove over there. It's 25 minutes. And again, for the ladies and the men out there, they'd be like, that was a first mistake. I have done this enough, and I'm older, wiser, that I can get a sense for people. And I felt good. I felt fine with him. And again, not saying you should do what I do, but that's what I choose to do. So I got there 25 minutes later, and come here. Okay, we're gonna take her collar off. I got there. He greeted me. He lived in a nice area. I could smell his cologne before I hugged him. He looked like his pictures. I looked like my pictures. That's what he said after a few minutes. He gave me a tour of his house, not that I asked, and I can tell right now energetically, I'm a person that pays attention to energy, that there's a little bit like, oh, I kind of wish he'd been more like this beautiful woman behind me. Hey, Kathleen. Oh, it's so nice to finally meet you. Come here. But that wasn't happening. And again, part of my experience with dating, with living my life, it's not about anyone being right or wrong. It's just noticing and saying, does that energetically work for me? So talk a little bit. We're downstairs. I did notice when he was showing me his upstairs, he was huffing and puffing. And I'm like thinking, oh, well, I hope that he takes care of himself. Just a little note. And then we sit on the couch, and here's the couch. He sits like this. I sit down, cross-legged facing him. So again, just noticing that. And the TV was on. And I asked him, oh, could you maybe shut that off or lower it? And he kind of looked at me like, and I was like, yeah, so we can hear each other when we're talking. He's like, okay. So we talked a little bit, then we went upstairs, and the rooftop, I mean, it was a great view. It's Vegas. It wasn't the night yet, but it's a great view in the sense of you're going to be able to see the sky. Personally, I think, Vegas, it's got its great points, but it's very deserty. So it was just a bunch of buildings, really, that looked all the same, but the sky was beautiful. The sky was definitely beautiful. We talked. I noticed that he hadn't taken off the cover to the outside couch. And just little things like that. Like I'd be thinking like, oh, sorry about that. Did you miss me? If somebody's coming over, I would have maybe thought it might be good to sit on the couch. Anyway, we were sitting there, we're talking, and I don't feel like he's asking me that many questions. I'm asking him, I'm engaging. When he says something like, how did that feel? Or I'm like, oh, that might have been hard or must have been hard, blah, blah, blah. So finally, I was thinking, what's really important to me is that somebody wants to get to know me, and vice versa, obviously. And so I said, hey, ask me questions. I will say this, to be clear, that I have a tendency to open up really quickly, and I'm rethinking the whole opening up. I talk to ChatGPT a lot. Judge me not. And at one point, Chat said last night, because I chatted with him after the date, or whatever it was. He said, it's not that you shouldn't share because anything is shameful, Kathleen, but it's because it's precious, and who do you want to share it with? And I was like, wow, yeah, because I think in the past I come from a space of, here you go, here's me, look, I'm vulnerable, I'm honest, and for some people it's too much, but more importantly for me, why am I giving you, my best outfit when maybe you're just a shorts and tank top person that I show up with, if that makes sense. So I noticed that, and I think I did reveal a few things that maybe he wasn't fond of, or nothing terrible, I thought, but some things I think he was more conservative. Anyway, at some point, the fireworks are really going off and the smoke is coming and we're sitting there, and he's asked me a few times, are you okay? You can probably tell by my energy, like I'm already a little bit hyper. So every time the fireworks hit, he's like, are you okay? Like, not every time, but I'm like this. And he's like, if you face the fireworks, you can see them coming. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to put up my legs. But just an example. So at some point, I say, and I think I'm kind of being funny, but to be fair, it probably came off as snarky. I said, look at us here. We're like shouting at each other. Because we can't hear each other, because it's like a war out here, and the smoke and everything, and like, God, it's so much. And he goes, well, he looks at me, and I could tell something shifted, and I think he said something like, well, you can leave if you want to. And I said, oh, no, I'm not. Are you offended? He's like, no, I'm just saying, like, if you don't like it, you can leave. And I was like, no, I didn't mean I wanted to go. I would say that. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of ironic. And he goes, well, people like to celebrate. And I'm like, yes, people like to celebrate. And I chose to be here, that's my choice. But at the same time, you're not quite getting what I'm saying, which is I value a little bit more quiet. We've been here now over an hour. So some time passes, more discord, not conversation really. And then I say, oh, it's 9:00 or a little after 9. And I go, maybe like in a few minutes we can go downstairs where it's more quiet and talk. And no, I said, it's going to be, it's almost over, the fireworks. He said, no, they won't be over till 11. I'm like, oh, well, maybe in like 15 minutes we can go downstairs and talk. It'll be more quiet. And he goes, no, I don't want to do that. And I go, no, he said again, well, I mean, you can go if you want. And I said, go downstairs, like inside? That's what I said. Go inside? I was trying to clarify. And he goes, no, I mean, if you want to get going. I said, but I'm not saying that. I'm like, you don't want to go inside, like, for like a while and 15 minutes to talk? Like, thinking, you don't want to have some quiet, and get to know each other a bit. But he says, I'm inside a lot, and I don't want to be inside. So where does that leave us? And as he's saying, where does that leave us? I'm just like, my body, right, somatically, I'm feeling like, this is like, it's not what he said or did per se. It was a trigger for me. Like when I was little and my feelings would get hurt, or I'd feel scared and overwhelmed, and like, I went into freeze for like 5 seconds. And then my brain was like, basically, Kathleen, he's not meeting you. He doesn't want to know you more. He's not compromising. He's clear. And I really wish at that point, even if it sounded a little like rude, which looking back, I'd prefer it. I wish he could have said, listen, my other cat, Ashley, I don't think we're really a match here. I don't mean to be offensive, but I think it's best. I'll escort you out. You get going, go home, be safe with your cats, and I want to sit up here. I want to sit up here and watch the fireworks, right? And he could have done that, but that would have required him to probably be more emotionally in tune and regulated. And he was probably, I think at this point, probably a little offended by things I had said. Who knows? I'm not blaming myself or him. So at that point, then I get my little zing back, and I'm like, oh, okay. All right, well, then it's very clear. It leaves us here. And so I'm glad I get up. And I'm like, I'm like, well, I'm glad we got together so we could figure out we shouldn't be together. And he's like, and I'm like, well, you go first because I can't see, it's smoky. And he's like, okay, well, I don't want you to trip. So there's no animosity. He's not bad. I'm a little snarky. But I'm like, calm down. This is all good, Kathleen. And so he walks downstairs. I ask to use the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, and I'm thinking, oh, look at that ring in the toilet bowl. And I'm going to tell you something. If we had gotten along, I wouldn't have cared about the ring in the toilet bowl. But my mind is like, let me find something to make him bad. And I was like, Kathleen, I'm a therapist. I'm a lot of different things, but I practice this every day with clients. Kathleen, this isn't about him. It's a chance for you to recognize, hey, this is not a good fit, and it's okay. It's okay. And I said the angels, universe, whatever you choose to believe in, I believe in all of that, are just being like, Kathleen, let's nip this in the butt. We're not going to wait. We're going to nip it right now so you don't go into la la land and think this can work. So in a way, I definitely had gratitude. I walked out. He walked me out. I saw my car, and I turned around, and I gave him a kind of half hug, which he didn't quite meet. And I was like, hey, thank you. And he's like, hey, text me when you get home just to know you're safe. I said, Like, I was going to, but I'm like, I wanted to be like, hell no. I get in my car. That's my cat. And that's when I started to talk to chat and release it. And about 5 minutes before I got home, he texts me. He's like, you left your Yeti cap, like with nothing else. And I'm thinking, I could be like snarky, but all I said was, it's all good, just throw it out. And he writes, okay. And then when I got home, he had unmatched me, which I understand. So I'm not going to say there's a lesson. I don't believe there's a lesson to everything. I think it's a chance for me to really just look at myself and understand we all are human beings, and we all have different things. And I think also the older we get, it's not always wiser per se, but we maybe get stuck in a little bit of what we want and what we don't want. So that's my story for today. Feel free to give me feedback, and I'll share with you more next time. Okay, bye.